Welcome home, baby. Nobody knows your Datsun better than your Nissan dealer. And now he has the greatest service for your car ever. Welcome home service. Your car will be protected by Nissan's finest factory-trained mechanics. It'll be welcomed by real friends, genuine Nissan parts, and you'll get a welcome from the people who know and love your car. Nobody knows your car like your Datsun dealer. Welcome home, baby.
Strength, stamina, tone, agility, striving, sweating, reaching, stretching for fitness. Be good to yourself at the Longmont Athletic Club. Call 772-4700 for membership information.
This is Longmont This Week, a digest of the important events in Longmont and the St. Vrain Valley in review.
Bronco Mania strikes Colorado, and Longmont is no exception. Super Bowl tickets are scarce, but if you're willing to pay the price, local travel agents can get you there for the big game. And a preview of what's in store for men's fashion here in Longmont. Find out how to make yourself look good for the warmer weather. Hello and welcome to Longmont This Week. I'm Amy Batten. The Longmont City Council assigned a level of priority to 17 issues at their annual retreat last weekend. Council members visited Aspen Lodge to discuss and rank the city's issues as top, high, moderate, or low importance. Ranking high on the council's list is the development of a plan for Longmont's future, which will be designed to encompass long-range ideas of local citizens and groups. Plus, specific measures and assignments to realize those ideas are in the plan. Improving Longmont streets, sewers, water lines, and government buildings also claim top priority, as did the issue of water quality supply. Solid waste collection and disposal won the council's priority attention in 1988 as well. This year's annual retreat ended last Saturday. The weather in Longmont has been below freezing for several weeks now, and for the past few weeks we've been giving you some tips on how to deal with the cold weather. But some of you may be ready to throw in the towel and head for the warmth. And as Jim Wood reports, there's an event that might draw your interest next week in sunny San Diego.
Broncos, three amigos. Do you have it? Do you know somebody who's got it? You know what I'm talking about. Super Bowl fever, Bronco Mania, Orange Crush fever, whatever you want to call it. Somebody who really wants to get to this year's Super Bowl. You've missed it twice now, and who knows when the Broncos are going to be there again. And besides, it's in sunny San Diego this year. Well, if you've got that malady this year, there is a cure. There are packages through travel agents, tickets still available. The only problem is that the cure is a little bit expensive this year, and if you're planning on going to the Super Bowl, plan on selling your American Express Gold Card down the river.
$13.25 for the land package with your game tickets, end zone game tickets, and with the air it's another $300.
Okay,
and
so
that's
we're looking about $16.50 or so per person.
Per person.
Per person, and you're not. I'm gonna
totally pay for it today, non-refundable.
Okay.
And that's the price tag, according to Betty Wiltrout, owner of Horizon Travel. They will be happy to get you there, but be prepared to pay first-class prices for coach service.
Also, one thing that we found yesterday was there's a few seats left on one that is a cruise, and then you can either watch the game on the big screen TV, which of course makes it about $700 less, or you can go to the game. They will transfer you to the game and you can go to the game for around a $700 figure for a game ticket.
But that's the end zone. If you just want to get into the game without buying a tour package, it's possible, but join the crowd. If you want to sit on the 50-yard line,
Roughly around $2,000 if you're going to sit on the 50-yard line.
now that's some steep pricing. Now who's making all the money off of this? Was it the NFL that set the prices that high? How much were the tickets originally?
$100.
$100.
Some scalpers out there, huh?
Well, everybody runs tickets, as you can see by the ads in the Rocky Mountain News. But for the poor fellow who can only spend $300 a piece, sorry, bud, buy a new TV set instead. Try $700 for end-zone tickets, $1,750 a piece for 20-yard line, and $2,000 each for 50-yard line. But as the game draws closer and the Super Bowl fever begins to heat up, you may see the more innovative types, such as this fellow who's willing to trade his wife for Super Bowl tickets. But there is good news, at least. There are Super Bowl tickets available. There are a few flights available, but you've got to move on it. So go down to your local travel agency and expect to hear these words when you walk in the door.
Have your pocketbook open and want to spend.
And to quote John Elway, wow.
In case you were wondering, ticket prices are up quite a bit over last year's Super Bowl in Los Angeles. The average seat price is up $200 to $300, but it might be worth it this year. The Broncos may actually win it. When we come back to Longmont this week, you'll find out what Longmont's new city attorney will make in a year and what council decided in the way of his benefits. And a preview of spring fashions, a lighthearted look at menswear when the weather warms up in 1988. Stay with us.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Need a lift? Listen to the heartbeat.
Driving a new Chevy from Hayek isn't just a daydream. Come see the exciting new Beretta and sports side pickup. Hayek Chevy Olds, 1330 Main in Longmont.
Everyone today needs help with their investments and planning for their future financial needs. Hello, I'm Murray Raffel, Certified Financial Planner.
I'm Gus Davis, Investment Specialist.
I'm Jerry Brown, Certified Public Accountant.
We've got the team to help you reach your financial goals. To speak to professionals of Integrated Resources Equity Corporation, call 530-7278 in Boulder, 776-6412 in Longmont, or 669-3800 in Loveland. Member NASD, SIPC.
Longmont's new city attorney has an approved contract as of Tuesday night. Clay Douglas, who starts work with the city on Monday, will earn $62,000 per year. The city will also cover Douglas's personal auto expenses, provide $1,300 in annual payments to a deferred compensation retirement fund, and up to $1,000 in moving expenses for the new city attorney. Tuesday, Council also approved a 7.5 raise for Municipal Judge Diana Vandehay, raising her annual salary from $43,800 to a little over $47,000 per year. As a result of Council's action on Tuesday, Vandehay is now allowed 18 days of vacation per year and $1,300 for a deferred compensation retirement plan. Most of us are tired of winter dressing. Bundling up in layers and overshoes every day can get a little depressing. It's time to look for lighter spring wear. Some stores already have spring fashions displayed. This week, John Nettle examines men's fashions dressing up for 1988.
With spring just around the corner, more than a few men are wondering what's big in menswear for 1988. Leona Stacker, instructor for fashion consultants, says what people wear can be pretty important.
I think the statement that it makes, it's very much a part of the first impression. We are very much, whether we approve of it or not, we do immediately form an impression, either a negative or a positive impression. We're told by experts within 10 seconds we form an impression when we first meet someone. So though I consider the appearance the least important aspect of the total person, because we judge people so quickly, appearance says a great deal about how we feel about ourselves as well as how we look to other people.
With all the new clothing coming out in 1988, buying clothes can be confusing and even sometimes frustrating. There's so many patterns, fabrics, and styles in shirts and pants. But even with all the different types of fashionable clothing, men still seem to know what they want. Shireen Morgan, manager of J Riggings, tells us that for the most part, men know how they want to look.
They want to look good, and they're willing to, you know, maybe be a little more fashion conscious, but they're still very conservative, I think. And they need a lot of guidance. They don't want to be like a Boulderite and be bizarre, but they still want to be update. So, and Longmont is really a melting pot kind of too. There's a lot of different people here. You have some that want something really wild and bizarre and trendy, and then there's others that are very conservative and don't want the bright colors and, you know, stuff like that. So it just depends on personal interest.
There are men who dress for success, men who dress for comfort, men who dress for style, and men who want to dress in what's hot. Daryl Hyselius, assistant manager of KG Men's Store, says younger men are not the only fashion-conscious ones.
Our clientele is geared more towards middle-aged, 30 to 40 years old, upper to middle class gentlemen. We have a lot of younger kids, high school kids coming in also. For our jeans, we gear a lot of our sportswear towards the younger kids.
But with all the nice clothing comes a not-so-nice price. What should men buy if they don't have lots of money?
If you have a limited budget and you still want some of the funky way out things, get them at the very cheapest prices that you possibly can. I think your major portion of your budget should be spent on pieces that are lasting, and by lasting it depends again upon your profession. I prefer to buy top quality fabrics. They will look good, they will wear well, they are truly almost timeless.
What's in and what's out for 1988? Well, for starts, the color brown is out and the color pink is in. Try to tell that to a guy who hangs out at a country western bar. The Miami Vice outfit will make a comeback again this year, and sports coats will fit a little tighter around the hips, which is really good for skinny guys. Thin ties will be back in again this year, and yellow paisley ties are on their way out, which is really fine with me because I've never worn one. But with all the snow around here right now, the best fashion is a good warm coat. The ski pass is optional. For Longmont This Week, I'm John Nettle.
John says the one rule to follow when dressing up is not to take fashion too seriously. It's not going to kill you if you don't wear a tie clip, and most people probably wouldn't notice it anyway. Coming up on Longmont This Week, Murray Raffel examines corruption on Wall Street and defines current interest rates. And Longmont may see a new antenna preceding a television station. We'll tell you where it may be built next.
Boy, I sure had fun today. Me too. Dad showed me how to play racquetball. Ready?
Ready. The Longmont Athletic Club. Don't just be good to yourself, be good to the whole family. For membership information, call 772-4700.
An applicant for a television license for Channel 25 wants to build a 462-foot antenna on top of the Great Western Sugar Factory. The proposed antenna for EchoNet Corporation of Englewood would be constructed on top of a 200-foot smokestack. The total height of both smokestack and antenna would be 462 feet. A construction permit for the antenna was forwarded for comment to the Longmont Airport Advisory Board. The board did not take any action on the issue. EchoNet is one of 3 original applicants for the UHF channel. However, only EchoNet and Colorado broadcasters of Little Rock, Arkansas are still eligible for the Federal Communications Commission's license. An initial hearing for the license applications is scheduled for March, although the FCC licensing process could take as long as 3 years. Earlier this week, Murray Raffel dropped by our studios to talk about interest rates and give us some information about corruption on Wall Street. Here's what he had to say.
With the volatility that we had on interest rates during 1987, I thought I'd take a moment and take a look at what some of the local banking institutions are offering during 1988. The first bank we looked at was First Bank North. Their money market fund rate was 5.35. Their passbook savings account was 5%, and their 12-month CD came in at 7%. The next institution is Longmont First Industrial Bank. Their money market fund was 6.25. Their passbook account was 5.5%, and their 12-month CD was 7.75. The next institution is First National Bank. Their money market fund was 5.25, their savings account at 5.30, and their 12-month CD came in at 6.75%. I thought I'd take a moment this week and take a look at the corruption that we've seen during 1987 on Wall Street. 1987 might have been a down year for the profits on Wall Street, but it certainly was an up year for corruption. In the smash hit movie Wall Street, greed never looked so good. In a dramatic speech by Michael Douglas, he makes a passionate appeal to the stockholders meeting and drives home the concept that greed is good. The speech almost paralleled the one given by corporate raider and now occupant of a prison cell, Ivan Boesky, the one he made to a law school class in New York. In the movie Wall Street, Charlie Sheen plays the aggressive stockbroker Bud Fox, and he sells his soul to the devil dollar and becomes a pawn of greed. Ivan Boesky made millions of dollars by climbing over the backs of others and dealing in inside information. This week, we witnessed a 23-year-old stockbroker in New York that ripped off $10 million from friends and investors. Money that was supposed to be placed in stocks and bonds ended up in the broker's pocket. The funds were used to buy expensive real estate, rare art, and over $8 million was spent. Another attempt at using the theory, greed is good. 1987 saw a major New York Stock Exchange firm constantly under barrage from charges of laundering dope money to a mammoth check-kiting scheme that bilked millions of dollars from banks around the country. The scheme itself was so profitable that it became part of an operations manual for branch managers. This week, the Attorney General of the United States, the man charged of upholding the laws of our land, has found himself involved in racketeering investigation. The former attorney for Edwin Meese, Robert Wallach, is accused of using his inside track to the Attorney General to help WETEC win a $35 million federal government contract. Wallach was paid $1.3 million in stock and fees to help influence federal officials. We alarm when a bank is robbed of $5,000 and stolen at gunpoint. White-collar crime on Wall Street might not use deadly force, but their tools of computers and dealing with inside information has proven to be very profitable. Robert Giuliani, U.S. Attorney in New York, has been a prominent national figure prosecuting the greed is good followers. Some are in jail, more will follow, and there's always the quick buck artist with his hand out reaching for your wallet and the back of his mind believing greed is good. If you have any doubts about the stranger that has such a good deal for you, please contact somebody. I recommend starting with the Chamber of Commerce or the Better Business Bureau. Get all the information you can and then decide. This has been Murray Raffel, financial reporter for Longmont This Week.
Next week, Murray will tell us about college funds, how to beat the high cost of education early in your child's life. Cholesterol clogs arteries, and soon you'll be able to find out what your cholesterol level is and if it's high, what to do about it. The Boulder County Health Department is sponsoring a mass cholesterol screening February 18th through the 21st. The screening was incorrectly advertised in the local media as taking place in January, but those interested must wait until next month to take advantage of it. The cost will be $3, and the event will be in the Twin Peaks Mall. Coming up next on Longmont This Week, Mike Mitchell will be here with sports, some more Broncos news, and a little about the area's youthful coaches. But first, here's our community bulletin board. Send your announcements to Longmont This Week, 1200 South Sunset Street, Longmont, Colorado, 80501.
Heart surgery. To perform it, doctors need vital information. At an IBM scientific center in England, computer researchers and doctors are transforming X-rays into three-dimensional models of a patient's arteries and beating heart. This experimental project is an example of innovation at IBM, and it could be another way computers help doctors save lives.
Mike Mitchell's here with sports now, and I understand you've got some interesting Broncos information for us today, Mike.
Well, I do, Amy, but not until John Nettle takes back what he said about Paisley ties going out of style. John, I'll do better next week. Anyway, Washington Redskins coach Joe Gibbs says he will impose a 12 midnight curfew on his football team for next Sunday's Super Bowl against our own Denver Broncos. Why? Well, in 1983, Super Bowl 17 saw the Redskins humiliated 38-9 by the now Los Angeles Raiders. And during that week, the Skins had free reign of the city of Tampa and no bed check. That will be the difference for the Redskins. Now, the difference for the Broncos? Attitude, as John Elway puts it. He says the Broncos are a lot more relaxed this year and a lot more task-oriented. As you can easily imagine, there was a lot more messing around last year in Pasadena and Super Bowl fever-type activities. But this year, the Broncos seem to have their priorities much more in order. The healing of Vance Johnson's femoral artery remains a question mark, but believe me, the Vance will play. He's got some extra incentive, if indeed somebody does need extra incentive to play in the Super Bowl. And he got that from the great 49ers receiver, Jerry Rice, who says the Redskins' Gary Clark is much better than any of the three amigos. Do you believe that? Well, Clark is a great one, make no mistake about that. And he probably runs the crossing route about as well as anybody in the game. But the three amigos ain't too shabby either. And as a group, they are easily the fastest in the entire NFL. Next week, Super Bowl fever will really be in the headlines all across the country. And with people like Dexter Manley of the Redskins and our own Mark Jackson and Vance Johnson, look for some interesting quotes coming from San Diego. On the local scene, congratulations to Dawn Davies. She's just a junior at Longmont High School, and she's had two great basketball games just this past week. The 5'10" Davies scored 10 points in leading the Lady Trojans to a 47-24 win over Niwot, and then just 3 days later she comes up with a game-high 16 points in a very tough 58-54 setback to Greeley Central. Dawn has shown consistent improvement over the course of the season, and she should be a key factor for the Trojans as they try and keep their hopes for a state tourney berth alive. Also a job well done to both Kevin Witt and Casey Pape, who combined to win the diving portion of the Northern Conference Relays last Saturday in Greeley. Now these two guys have already this season qualified for state, and in pulling together to win the diving section in the Northern Relays marked the second straight year the Trojans have done so. Congratulations to all three of those people. You know, there's an abundance of athletic talent throughout the Longmont high schools, and we've got some excellent swimmers and divers in the area, and they just don't get the practice time they need to fully develop their potential. Why? Well, did you know that all three high schools in the area share the same swimming facility and have to constantly work around each other for practice time? And this just isn't right. Could you imagine all three football teams having to use the same practice field here in town? If that were the case, I doubt if Longmont and Skyline high schools would be challenging for the state championship every year as they seem to be. Bottom line, this town needs another pool. We've got kids accomplishing just some incredible things with half the practice time their competitors get at schools around the state. So parents, that might be something to talk to your city councilman about. And finally, this story is well overdue. I really need to put in a plug for what I feel sports-wise is Longmont's most valuable resource. This town has an unusual amount of outstanding young athletic coaches. Now these are not just people who possess good knowledge about sports, although they sure do. These are people who really care about Longmont's young people, and we're very lucky to have these guys and ladies. Let's face it, the monetary rewards in coaching are much lower than they should be, and these people are there because they want to be, because they really care about your sons and daughters. I'd like to mention just a couple of names if I could. At Northeast Junior High, we have a veritable plethora of young, outstanding coaches led by my good friend Mike Knaus, who coaches 3 sports, and newcomers Mike Weaver and Doug Duffy, along with Jeff Kloster, who does an outstanding job with the 9th grade basketball team. At Longmont High School, Dale Geibel also is a great basketball mind, and Diane Bratz has done a great job with the tennis team. Val Coleman and Bob Banning are at Niwot High School. Miss Coleman does an excellent job with the track team, as does Bob Banning, and I really feel like Bob has an excellent future in basketball. At Skyline, Jim Sundberg's been a very great acquisition of Skyline, and Sherry Schumann just may be the best of the bunch, as she's a great classroom teacher in special education and does a great job in basketball and volleyball. So parents, if you have sons and daughters involved locally in athletics, talk to them about what kind of rapport they have with their coaches. If you're going to the games, keep that up, but I'll tell you what else to do. Go to the practices. That's where you'll really find out what kind of a relationship those coaches have with your sons and daughters. I think you'll be very impressed. I have just a couple of scores locally. In wrestling, the Greeley Central Wildcats thrashed Niwot 42-26, and in girls basketball, my good buddy Don Frenzen's Skyline Falcons really got to Niwot 50-37. And finally, I do want to mention the name of Sean Lair, Amy, at Skyline High School. He's 7-0 undefeated, and he's the 119-pounder for the Falcons. And the Falcons were able to win the very prestigious Fort Collins Invitational last Saturday. They're off to a good start.
Well, that's great. Thanks a lot, Mike. Just a reminder that this week on Channel 3 we'll have Niwot at Skyline, and you should check the primetime guide for listings for specific times. That's it for Longmont this week. Thanks for joining us. Have a nice evening. For Mike and the rest of the staff and crew, I'm Amy Batten.
When you buy or sell your home through Coldwell Banker, the Pratt Group, you will be affiliated with the #1 real estate company in America. We are a member of Sears Financial Network. With 30 full-time agents, we can serve you 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. We sell Longmont and have ultimate exposure with our Marketing Information Center located in the Twin Peaks Mall. Coldwell Banker, the Pratt Group, a leader in the resale home market and also serving several new home subdivisions throughout the Front Range. From Coldwell Banker, the Pratt Group, we care about you and your needs.
You wouldn't believe all the things going on at Shakey's. It's lighter. Ooh, it's brighter. Ooh, it's got an incredible salad bar. But wait, there's more. Like Shakey's fantastic luncheon buffet. You get pizza, you get pasta, you get chicken, and you get salad. And that's not all. You get a low, low price. This offer's for a limited time, so you better get moving. You're not moving.